Why can't it be like Lord of the Rings where there's just one microphone to rule them all? It'd be so much easier if not more dark and sinister. There's so many microphone choices and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. We're going to pick on the main 3 that get used in video production and hopefully show you the sound quality, the range of movement and limitations, and then how easy they are to set up. So test 1, we're going to test the sound quality. This is the NTG3. It's a pro shotgun mic, and the main benefit, apart from sounding nice, is that you're able to pick up a voice from a bit further away than, say, the NTG2 or other cheaper microphones. Let's do a plosives test. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a pick of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Penis.
This is the NTG2. Costs a lot less, and I doubt you'll notice much difference because we're able to get this mic really close to me here in the studio. I wouldn't want this on a professional shoot really, because there will be situations where you can't really get close to the subject without getting the mic in frame. So I'd want the NTG3, but this mic is close right now and the quality is great, or it should be. Shotgun mics are taking sound only from where the end is pointing and reducing or eliminating anything else in the room. It's amazing at cancelling out background noise. I'm gonna get Ed to run on the spot in the background. Let's test that theory. So you can hear Ed's running. I can't make it disappear, but crucially, you can still hear me clearly, and that's because the mic is only sensitive in a very specific direction. The shotgun always has to be pointing at a space just in front of the subject's mouth. But if your studio interview is in a busy office or right next to a busy road or even a train line, a shotgun mic is going to be the most effective at minimizing the background noise. Oh, he stopped running already. Let's do that plosives test. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where's the peck of pickled peppers the Peter Piper picked? I'm plenty pleased I picked this poem. And finally, on the shotgun front, here's the Rode Video Micro BL on my phone, and this would be the same result if you were using Video Micro in your DSLR. Same principle as the other shotgun mics, it's only picking up audio in a straight line from the end of the mic. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter picked? Okay, let's move on to lav mics. I'm currently on the professional Sennheiser 100G3. I always think the sound is good on these until I hear it next to a pro shotgun mic. Although you get more specialized directional lav mics, most consumer and pro lav mics are omnidirectional. I don't want to get into the boring differences, but the lav mic will pick up more background noise than a shotgun. Let's test that with a bit more running on the spot from Ed. If you've got a quiet space, this of course doesn't matter, but otherwise background noise will creep in and distract an audience more than with a shotgun mic. Put it this way, it's the difference between the background noise sounding like it's meant to be there, as in the noise of a crowd when a reporter is talking to a camera at a sports game, versus sounding like you're trying to be heard despite the crowd. The background noise gets to compete more with the subject on a lav mic. And that's with the professional lav mic. What about the prosumer Rode Wireless Go? I'm now using the Go with a smart lav, and let's just get Ed running on the spot again. Maybe we can get him up to his 10,000 steps by the end of the day. How does that perform? Probably much the same as the Sennheiser. The Pro Lav mics aren't much better in terms of sound than the Rode Go, but they can be used in a much bigger variety of situations because of the strength of the radio signal compared to the Go. But for situations like this, I don't think there's much of a difference. This is the internal mic of the Canon C100 from about 1.5 meters away. The roomy sound that you associate with home movies is what happens when you use the internal mic on the camera. If they're so bad, you might be thinking, why do they have them at all? Well, the internal mic on a camera is really helpful if you're recording sound separately and then synchronizing them later on in the edit. But they're not going to give you great sound while filming you at the same time. That's not to say they're terrible mics, just that they can't possibly get close enough to get good sound. You could use them just as a microphone if you've got nothing else to hand and to record a voiceover, for example. This is me filming on the Sony A7 Mark III, so from this far away, probably sounds not too bad. You could of course use your mobile phone in the same way and get pretty decent audio for a voiceover, but for anything else, the internal camera mic is only there as a scratch or wild track, recording sound to help with connecting a separate track in the edit. Let's do that plosives test because you may use the internal mic for voiceovers after all.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. With quality content like this, why haven't you subscribed yet? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
There's one other mic that we think you should consider that's not on this list, and that is the GoPro Max microphone, which surprised us all. For that mic, check out this link here, and we'll also include it on the end screen if you want to stay with this video. Right. We've tested the mics on quality. Let's have a look at some of the more practical stuff. Test number 2 is all about range of movement. As explained earlier, the shotgun mic is directional, so it has a small window in which to get the best sound possible. Move too far off to one side though, and things start to fall apart. And the same thing happens when you move forwards or backwards. Now, if you're filming by yourself, it's quite possible you're not going to notice take after take that you've moved off the overhead microphone. You could end up with a load of footage that doesn't sound as good as it should, and that's the same for pro shotgun mics and the likes of the NTG2. That's why in film and television, the sound recordist is chasing people around with a boom pole just out of shot. Let's put the Rode Go back on.
Now with the lav mics, I'm not tethered to the spot, so I can roam about quite freely and there's no one needing to chase me about with a boom pole, obviously. So suddenly you can see why these are used all the time, even though the shotgun sounds better. In fact, there are, for actors, teeny tiny lav mics made by specialists like Countryman, and they can be hidden behind buttons and inside collars. And although I'm not suggesting that you get one, it just goes to show that this is a solution that the pros use when you can't easily get a shotgun mic into the space without it being seen. And for most small creator channels, having a lav mic on your clothing in shot just isn't going to matter to an audience. One cheeky thing you can do with the Rode Wireless Go is to use it like a shotgun mic. Let's try that. If you position it overhead, because it has a built-in mic on the transmitter, it's not as crisp as a shotgun mic due to it picking up more of the surrounding sound, but you can get it out of frame this way if you want, and suddenly it's a wireless shotgun mic, if you want one.
So if you're going to be moving about a lot, or you just don't like the thought of drifting off the mic during a take, then lav mics might be the way to go. Obviously, we're not testing the inbuilt mic on the camera any further. Test 3, ease of setup. The shotgun mics need a bit of hand-holding. They're the divas of microphones and need all sorts of extras for them to work properly. But once you have that, the sound is amazing. You can of course put them on top of your camera with a cold shoe mount adapter, but that means you need to be the same distance from the camera and pretty close the whole time to get the best out of them. The proper way is to free up the camera to be moved anywhere independently of the mic and use a C-stand, clamp and boom pole to get the shotgun overhead and just out of frame. That's not an easy or cheap setup, but once up you can sit and forget, so I suppose that makes it easy in a studio environment. Apart from the Video Mic Me L, which doesn't need all that kit, it is of course on your phone or tablet the whole time. The lav mics really win this because there's just no buying anything extra. Just turn them on, connect the receiver to the camera and stick the transmitter in your pocket and clip the lav on your shirt. No C-stands, shock mounts, clamps or silver trailers needed for these guys. In summary, considering all the practical things as well as getting decent sound quality, we think small creators should consider radio lav mics first over shotgun mics, and in particular the Rode Wireless Go, because it's the most affordable of the radio mics and the most compact. If you think this was helpful, you'll love this video on the GoPro Max microphone review, which if you've been watching our channel regularly, you're probably fed up with hearing about it from us, but we think it's worth banging on about. Or watch this latest video here and subscribe, because we're here 3 times a week showing you how to grow your channel while you watch us grow ours.